Imagine two people who start their careers at the same time. They both earn similar salaries, live in the same city, and face the same opportunities in life. 20 years later, one of them has built significant wealth and is financially free, while the other is still living paycheck to paycheck, constantly worried about bills and expenses. What happened? How can two people start at the same point and end up in completely different financial situations? The truth is something most people never realize. Becoming a millionaire is rarely about luck, and it's not always about having a high salary. In fact, the biggest reason most people will never become millionaires has very little to do with how much money they earn. It has far more to do with how they think about money. Most people grow up believing that working hard automatically leads to financial success. From a young age, we are told to study hard, get a stable job, and earn a good salary. While these things can certainly help, they do not guarantee wealth. In reality, many highly educated professionals earn six-figure incomes and still struggle financially. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, and corporate executives often make large salaries but remain trapped in a cycle of expenses and financial obligations. The problem is not income. The problem is the financial system most people follow without questioning it. One of the biggest reasons people never become millionaires is lifestyle inflation. This happens when someone's spending increases every time their income increases. When people receive a raise, they upgrade their lifestyle almost immediately. They move into a bigger house, buy a more expensive car, upgrade their phone, travel more frequently, and increase their daily spending habits. On the surface, this feels like success. But over time, it quietly destroys the ability to build wealth. Instead of investing the extra income, people convert it into higher monthly expenses. Eventually, their lifestyle becomes so expensive that even a high salary feels barely enough. Another major reason people struggle to build wealth is the difference between assets and liabilities. This concept is simple but extremely powerful. Assets are things that put money into your pocket, while liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket. Unfortunately, most people spend their lives buying liabilities while believing they are investing. Expensive cars, luxury gadgets, oversized homes, and designer brands may create the appearance of wealth, but they rarely produce income. Instead, they create ongoing costs such as maintenance, insurance, interest payments, and depreciation. Wealthy individuals think about money differently. Instead of focusing on status purchases, they focus on acquiring assets that generate income over time. Another hidden factor that prevents people from becoming millionaires is the absence of long-term investing. Many people treat investing like gambling. They look for quick profits, chase trending stocks, or follow hype on social media. When investments fluctuate, they panic and sell at the worst possible moments. This behavior turns investing into a losing game. Wealthy investors approach investing with patience and discipline. They understand that real wealth is built slowly through consistent investing over many years. Compounding returns, reinvested dividends, and long-term market growth can transform relatively small investments into significant wealth over time. Perhaps one of the most underestimated forces in wealth building is time. Time is the single most powerful advantage an investor can have. When someone begins investing early, even small amounts of money can grow dramatically through compound growth. Imagine investing just a few $100s every month for several decades. At first, the progress seems slow and insignificant. But over time, those investments begin generating their own returns. Those returns then produce even more returns. Eventually, the growth becomes exponential. This is the magic of compounding, and it is the reason many millionaires built their wealth gradually rather than suddenly. However, many people delay investing for years because they believe they need a large amount of money to start. They wait until they earn more, until they feel financially secure, or until they think the timing is perfect. Unfortunately, this delay costs them their most valuable resource, time. Starting early, even with small amounts, often produces far greater results than waiting for the perfect moment. Another reason most people never become millionaires is fear. Fear appears in many different forms. Some people fear losing money in the stock market. Others fear taking calculated risks such as starting a business or learning new financial skills. Fear often leads people to keep their money in places where it feels safe but grows very slowly, such as basic savings accounts. While saving money is important for stability, it rarely creates wealth on its own. Wealth usually grows through investments, ownership, and participation in productive economic activities. There is also a psychological factor that influences financial success. Many people subconsciously believe that becoming wealthy is unrealistic for them. They assume that millionaires are lucky, privileged, or somehow different from ordinary people. This belief shapes their decisions in subtle ways. If someone believes wealth is unattainable, they are less likely to pursue opportunities, learn financial skills, or take actions that could improve their financial future. On the other hand, individuals who believe wealth is achievable are far more likely to educate themselves about investing, entrepreneurship, and money management. Another overlooked reason people struggle financially is the influence of social expectations. Society often encourages people to display success through visible purchases. Expensive cars, luxury vacations, fashionable clothing, and large homes are often seen as symbols of achievement. Social media amplifies this pressure by constantly showcasing lifestyles that appear glamorous and wealthy. As a result, many people spend money to appear successful rather than focusing on becoming financially secure. True wealth is usually far less visible. Many millionaires live surprisingly modest lifestyles while quietly investing and growing their assets behind the scenes. Education also plays a role. Traditional education systems teach many valuable skills, but financial literacy is rarely emphasized. Many adults enter the workforce without understanding basic concepts such as investing, taxes, debt management, or compound growth. Without this knowledge, people often rely on trial and error when managing their finances. Learning even a few key financial principles can dramatically change someone's financial trajectory. The good news is that the habits that prevent people from becoming millionaires can also be changed. Building wealth does not require extraordinary intelligence or perfect timing. It requires consistent habits, patience, and a long-term perspective. Small actions repeated over many years can produce remarkable results. Saving a portion of income, investing consistently, controlling lifestyle inflation, and focusing on assets rather than liabilities are simple strategies, but they are incredibly powerful over time. When you look closely at the lives of many self-made millionaires, a pattern begins to appear. They rarely built wealth overnight. Instead, they followed disciplined financial habits for many years. They prioritized investing before spending, avoided unnecessary debt, and focused on opportunities that allowed their money to grow. Over time, these habits created momentum, and that momentum eventually transformed into financial independence. In the end, the difference between those who build wealth and those who struggle financially is often not dramatic. It is usually a series of small decisions made consistently over time. The choice to invest instead of spend. The choice to learn instead of ignore financial education. The choice to think long-term rather than chasing short-term gratification. Most people will never become millionaires not because it is impossible, but because the habits required to build wealth are often uncomfortable in the short term. They require patience, discipline, and the willingness to delay gratification while others spend freely. Yet for those who understand these principles and apply them consistently, financial freedom becomes far more achievable than most people realize. And perhaps the most important realization is this. The journey toward financial independence rarely begins with a massive amount of money. It begins with a shift in mindset. The moment someone starts thinking differently about money, investing, and long-term growth, they begin moving in a completely different financial direction. The real question is not whether becoming a millionaire is possible. The real question is whether someone is willing to adopt the habits that make it possible.